Your dog needs more focus, and that's easier said than done. If you have a dog that's distracted by other dogs when you're out on a walk, then this is the video for you. Today you're going to see two different dogs with different levels of training, but both are moderately distracted by other dogs. You're going to watch Instructor Carol and Instructor Shannon both work through the individual challenges that each of these dogs have, so that by the end of this video, you're going to have a plan when your dog gets distracted. I'm Ken Steep, and welcome back to McCann Dogs.
So we've got young Kiki over there in one corner, and we've got Lucy over here in another corner. Lucy's a little bit older. She's got some better skills at this point. So we're going to use her as a bit of a distraction for young Kiki, who is working hard to maintain focus.
So I'm never going to let my dog go visit when they're in that emotional state. You know, when she's pulling, I don't exist. Even now, you could say, well, she's relaxed now, she's not pulling in the leash, but her brain is on the other dog, which means it's not on me. So if she goes now, it means I mean nothing to her. And I want a great relationship with my dog when they're older. I want to be able to give them freedom. I want them to think I'm a wonderful person, the most important thing in the world. I want to be their buddy. So if I let them rehearse, I'm meaningless, I'm going to go play with that other puppy, I'm never going to get that relationship, or I'm going to have a tough time. So even though she's calm now, I'm going to work getting focused on me, not that other puppy. Oh, I know, you're wild. You're wild.
Before I even think about letting these two dogs greet, I want to make sure that one, I can get my dog's focus on me. That's a really important piece of the equation, because if I reinforce my dog only being focused on that external distraction, that other dog at this point, then I'm actually rewarding her for making a mistake and for doing something that I don't want her to do. I don't want her to learn to pull towards other dogs. I want her to learn to pay attention to me until I give her permission to go and say hi if I choose to do so. Not every dog is going to be appropriate to allow my young dog to go and say hello to. So it's really important that my dog understands the default behavior is just to ignore that other dog until they're specifically given permission. And that's going to make my life so much easier when I'm walking down the street and we come across dogs that I don't necessarily want to stop and have an interaction with. I want to make sure that my dog clearly understands that default behavior is to be mannerly and hang with me until they're given that permission.
Notice how I'm rewarding. The food is between me and Kalani. Oh, there's nothing over there. You need to judge your dog. See how Kalani turned off? I gave a few treats and then she turned away. She's a lab. Labs are food hounds. Is your dog a food hound? If, even though you've got those treats, your dog says, I'm focused on that distraction, then I maybe need to build a little more distance. And I even wondered there, is she going to be able to handle this situation, or do I need to move her further away from the other dog?
You want to make sure that your dog is in listening mode all of the time, not just when there's no distractions in the environment. So when you're setting this up, work on some of those simple skills. So right now, Lucy's excited about what's going on in the corner over there. Lucy, yes, good girl. Yay, you're so smart. I want to make sure I can get her attention back on me by calling her name, and then I might be able to follow that up. Luce, sit. With some simple commands, like sit, maybe like a little bit of a look at me. Yes, very good. Now I know I've got her attention and her focus. Something else I really like to do with my young dogs is make sure that I can take a hold of their collar without that being something that they worry about or try to struggle to get away from me. This is a big deal. A lot of the times people really neglect this small step, and it is so important. When we need to take control of our dogs, it's crucial that they are absolutely 100% fine with us reaching in and taking a hold of their collar.
Yes, so I'm going to reward her choice. Now she looked over and she said, I'm not interested. I'm more interested in you, and that's what I want lots of. I'm now adding some motion with Kalani. You can see not nearly as much as Shannon was doing with Lucy. I'm also not giving her as much leash. Shannon had pretty much the whole leash for Lucy because there was that connection there. Kalani's owner actually commented that she was amazed at how easily I handled Kalani, because even though Kalani's a baby, she's pretty big and she's very strong. So some of that great thing for you to learn is good leash technique. So I don't want to give her 6 feet of leash. One, how much leverage does she have? She's going to pull me pretty easily. Two, when she's 6 feet away, I might as well be a mile away because that level of distraction, young dogs just don't have that attention span. So I only want to give her a small amount, maybe 3 feet of leash. But I don't want to just hold the middle of the leash and let it drag. I have the loop over my thumb, and then I've gathered up the remaining leash in my hand, which means I can give Kalani really good information. I'm also not jerked all the time. It's much easier on an arm with a young, strong dog. So I'm very easy when I want to apply that tension towards me, because she starts to pull, I can get that other hand out. I take a hold of the leash not too far from the clip, and I can apply that pressure back, or I can turn. So instead of her dragging me, 6 feet as I'm trying to deal with that pulling, I'm now very easily able to deal with it. It doesn't hurt my arm. I can deal with it fast. And I'm able to give such good information to my dog.
Weaning off of food, when, how, all of these questions can be so confusing. They can often be a little bit more of a nuanced behavior, and something that we need a little bit more time than just a couple of minutes on YouTube to be able to thoroughly explain. These are things that we work very hard on in our online training programs. Join us for life skills. If you're looking for support and information on how to get from food in your hand to a reliably listening dog without having to carry food on you all the time, Life Skills is going to be a great program for you, and we're there to support you the whole way.
Getting your dog working, doing some, tricks. I could do some tricks, but even, there's not much difference between a sit, yes, good girl. I'm always delivering the treat for me, remember. So I'm not, even though she's looking out there, she's holding the sit. I could, yes, but the treat comes out, yes, when she's focused on me. Good girl. Now, a toy is a great way to get your dog's attention if your dog really likes it. I'm not sure whether Kalani does or not, and maybe with, it's fairly warm, plus a dog in the vicinity, she may not be that keen, but let's give it a try. Ready, set, get that thing. Now, I don't mind if she jumps a bit. Again, my main goal is getting focus around the other dog. My dog's saying, I'm the only thing that matters. But if I keep that toy low, I can avoid repetition of that behavior. Oh, you're a good pup. You're a good pup. Oh, look at you. I'm not following a checklist and saying, do this, do that. Notice I was on the curve. I was going to put that toy away, but Kalani was so good. She jumped up on me. I moved the toy. She didn't get what she wanted. And what did she do? She offered a behavior. She offered to sit. So one, she's saying, you're valuable. I'd like you to keep playing. She's also being respectful. Okay, I'm not jumping on you. I'm going to sit. Even though I was on a game plan to do something else, I'm capturing that moment. Wow, that was such a good choice to be respectful of me, not jumping up. I want to reward that behavior and that focus on me. So notice I immediately pulled that toy back out to catch that. So don't get caught at home that I'm working on this. Watch your dogs when they're doing things you really like. We want to reward those behaviors, especially when they're offering them themselves.
I am working on keeping Lucy in a stationary position at my side, and her job is to simply hold that sit as distractions approach. And what I'm going to do is make sure that I reinforce her well for making those good decisions. What Carol is doing is using that opportunity where I'm training Lucy. Carol's using that opportunity to systematically come a little bit closer and then move off again. Come a little bit closer with Keelani and then move off again. The goal is not to get all the way to the dog.
So I blew it. I got a little too close. Now, I probably should have seen that from Kalani, but she was doing so well. So that's going to happen. You're going to have those periods where you get a little close to that distraction. But notice immediately I turn her away. The tension back to me, your pulling is not going to get to that dog, which is a lesson in itself that says, hey, you just try and go over there. You're never going to get what you want when you're pulling. And I'm just going to move her back. And I know now I need to build a little bit more distance to help her be successful. What did I get out of this? Or what did Kalani get? We got a ton of this. One, a number of repetitions of this. Kalani soon learns pulling will never get me what I want. So she's not going to pull on walks to see every dog. She's not going to pull me out in traffic. She's not going to have another dog react badly because she's going in there. She's also learning how to properly interact with dogs. She also was able to focus on me at the beginning and the end. So I'm building a relationship with Kalani that says I'm pretty important because I'm now better than those other dogs.
If you're struggling with focus on walks, you're probably also struggling with jumping up. And if that's the case, watch this video. And on that note, I'm Ken. Happy training.